This is the first of what we hope are regular films on things we are working on at TA Aquaculture. No set times on bringing them out, it's a case of filming enough interesting clips and time available to edit them all together. This one is quite long and contains a small extra film on where our water comes from. Hope you enjoy it. We're going to start things off with a look at culturing live spirulina. This culture has been going for some months and it was time to top it up and do a little bit of maintenance with it. As you can see, it's nice and thick. It doesn't take long to get to this state. As you can see, the sides of the container quickly get encrusted in limescale. So it's time to give it a bit of a wipe over. It's quite hard to get rid of. Things you need to reset up a new culture are a bucket of water, 2 gallons of water, and for this we add 100 grams of reef salt and 100 grams of sodium bicarbonate. Also add a pinch of urea, which you can buy from garden centres, just a little bit to start it off. We're setting up a new culture just as a backup. This is some of Alan's wonderful plant mixture, concentrated plant nutrients. Just need a little drop of that. Mix it all in together. You'll always find bits of bicarb at the bottom, and soon dissipate. Set up the culture jar. A couple of jugs of water. And then we'll add a little bit of the old culture. Quite concentrated, so we only need a little bit. When you buy the original starter cultures, you only get them in a little vial, and they cost an absolute fortune. As you can see, there's a few bits of bicarb in the bottom there, but it doesn't really matter. You can just crunch it up and stir it around, it'll soon dissipate. Give it a good stir around. That's it for the starter culture. We just top up the original culture. A few jugs of fresh water. We find it amazingly easy to culture. It's just in natural daylight. An air stone in there, just keep it moving around a bit. We've had no problems with it. It cultures very well. Very useful to feed the adult brine shrimps when you get them in. And there we go. That's that job done. We finally finished the last stand in the fish room. Bit of a pain to put together. There are only a few tanks, but worth it in the long run. I just put a few angels in there. Just a few tanks. These are going to be mainly for raising young fish. Quite a lot of pipe work, which saves the back a little bit. I've tried various experiments culturing in Reservoir over the years. Some things work, some things don't that are supposed to. One Pretty usual method which we use is take some egg yolk flake and crush that up in a mortar pestle. It's a nice fine powder. Quite easy to use. We use these quite a lot in the fish house. Nice to put flake food in there and crunch it down with a fry. Let's get it down nice and fine. Nice little powder. Let's take a pinch, put it to a jar of aquarium water. Then just give it a bit of a stir around, and that's it. You don't normally see things for at least 2 weeks. We found that you could also do this with beef heart, if you get beef heart and put it into a jar of aquarium water. This produces quite a long infusoria, which is this one. You can see it with the naked eye. The egg yolk flake tends to be very fine. We feed a lot of newly hatched brine shrimp in the fish house. This is about a day's hatch. This is just the bog standard Siberian stuff we sell in the blue pouches. Very good hatching. I like to get in a big lump like this and just watch it dissipate into the water. Really nice. We'll be doing a video later on, more in-depth video on Artemia, how to hatch it, how to store it, and some of the problems that go wrong. That one will be coming up in another episode. We've had axolotls for a few years. Some years they breed well, others we have trouble hatching the eggs. This tank gave a good spawn, mainly on the spawning moss we provided. These are taken out to another tank for incubation. They quickly start forming into long white shapes and then into mini axolotls before hatching. We feed newly hatched brine shrimp from the start, which gets them off to a good start. This can be seen in the stomach of this youngster. Note how they pass any eggs they pick up straight through. This one started off white. This is quite a common sight. You might hear the occasional whistle in the background when we record in the fish house. This is the culprit. We put a small system in the back room. This will eventually be used for white spot sensitive imports of larger catfish such as owl numbers, which can harbour white spot in the gills. White spot has a 3-week cycle, and some fish need a 3 to 4 week quarantine period. The sump is a temporary barrel, but works okay. We keep it low so the water can fall in, putting more oxygen into the water. Not put a proper filter in yet, but letting the filter material flow freely makes it very efficient in the oxygen-rich water. Some of the tanks are being used as broodstock. These are Siphophorus helleri from a Toyak, and these are helleri from Yucatan. All breeding nicely. We have quite a few young growing up in the raising tanks. We've also got Congo Banchax myazai, which is a killifish from Congo. Very difficult to raise. We had some fantastic feeds in from Germany following recommendations from a friend in South Africa. This is a soft Artemia feed which comes in 4 grades. This one is grade 4, the largest. They are all soft and easy for fish to take in, even if they tear pieces out of the larger grades. These videos of fish feeding on them are all of grade 4 size. There are a lot more of these foods which we will put on the next video. These are Yellow-Bellied Alberts from Lake Victoria. These are some we bred in the hatchery. These are all Nicara Malarai and Fire Red Dragons. We've also got a Sabaji owl number in there. These are nice looking fish. Owl numbers go mad for this food. They seem to smell it from a long way off and come straight for it. He's always a bit wary with the old Nicaras in there, but they seem to get on okay. These are Lipochromis, that's the black and white mottled one, and the Nyra are the ones with more colour on the side of the body. I think most of those we bred in the hatchery here. They do pretty well. These green phantoms go absolutely mad for it. They kind of hide in and they're on it straight away. They clean the lot up. The odds and ends you see are a few mollies and swordtails, all to be bred in the place. They seem to sell as fast as they get up to size. These are some wild white spotted doras. And these two go mad for the food. They clean it all up in next to no time. We had a shipment of wild Spirulina. These are bred a few times. I don't know whether the food triggered them onto breed, but they take it well. Always scavenging for it. For an aquatic business, perhaps the most important thing is a source of good water. When we decided to take on the premises we have now, one of the biggest factors was the fact that it had Birmingham water. To locals this means Welsh water. Coming out of the tap at pH 7.5 with a general hardness of 1 to 2 makes this an ideal water for South American and soft water fish. The water contains no buffers, you can breathe on it and the pH drops rapidly. For our harder water fish, like rifts and live bearers, we use various means to roughen it up, like a little marine salt, Epsom, bicarbonate of soda, etc. We also use cockle and oyster shell in the filters of these fish, and in some rift systems coral sand and Cotswold stone. This hardens the water, and we breed a lot of harder water types. It's easier to harden the water than soften it. This is the Penny Garrick Dam, the first dam on our tour around. The Great Dams of Mid Wales were built to supply the city of Birmingham. The water coming into the shop comes straight from these lakes. This is the top of the Penny Garrick Dam. Penny Garrick means above the stone. This dam holds back 1,300 million gallons of water. Moving on from the Penny Garrick Dam, it's a short drive up to the Craiggoch Reservoir. The name Craiggoch means red rock. This dam holds back 2,000 million gallons of water. You can see how the water takes on a nice peaty tannin colour. From here we returned the way we came to get to the Cabangoch Reservoir. This name means red cabin. This dam holds back 8,000 million gallons of water. There are a total of 4 dams in the Elan and Clairwyn valleys. 2 more were built during construction of this mammoth project. One you now drive across to get to the Clairwyn Dam, the Garrick Dhu, that's this one, and the other downstream from this dam, the Dollymenac. This is the Cabangoch Dam, and the biggest in the Elan Valley, holding back 8,000 million gallons of water. The name means red cabin. This is the Clairwyn Dam. This is in a different valley and was the last to be built. Work commenced in 1946 and was completed in 1952, where it was opened by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. Due to the labour shortage in the building industry after the war, Italian stonemasons were employed to work on the stone faces. This dam holds back over 10,624 million gallons of water. It's the largest of all these dams and holds back as much as all the combined dams in the Elan Valley. It used up 700,000 tonnes of material to build. When you tot it all up, these dams hold back almost 22,000 million gallons of water. We went down to the visitor centre for a nice hot cup of tea. Here you can find out the history of building the dams and see numerous old photos taken during construction. Work began in 1893 with the laying of the first railway lines to get materials to the construction site. Here are a few photos you can see at the centre. including one of the opening of the Eden Valley dams by His Majesty King Edward VII and Queen Alexandra in 1904.